Elvis Aaron Presley was born on January 8th, 1935 in Tupelo, Mississippi. He would go on to become not only one of the largest music icons in human history, but possibly one of the biggest icons in human history, period. He was a cultural sensation from the moment he was discovered until the day he died, and even in death, he's been lionized with impersonators, tributes, and holy mother of God, the merchandise. You name it, and there is probably an Elvis version of it.
Dishes, socks, steering wheel covers, lampshades, jump ropes, sombreros, body pillows. That last one isn't even fake, by the way.
Elvis mania is still permeating popular culture in 2023. Hell, just last year, there was a brand new Elvis movie that was nominated for several awards and made back triple its budget. There is no question of the impact of Elvis Presley on American culture. Now, I know exactly what you're thinking, Kamikaze. What exactly does this have to do with your channel? Elvis isn't just a music icon, he is a film icon too. Elvis wrote, starred in, and did several soundtracks for a plethora of his own films. He starred in 25 films from 1956 to 1969, and you better believe he did most of the music too. All of these films are just a microcosm of 60s pop culture and, well, capitalism. Yeah, most of these films weren't meant to be interpreted as a piece of art. No, sir, these were products through and through. And none of these films encapsulates the sensation of manufactured Elvis than 1968's Speedway. Oh yeah, it's Elvis, it's racing, it's Speedway. This film came during a period which Wikipedia says Elvis had grown deeply unhappy with his career. His most recent album had record low sales, and Elvis was viewed by both the critics and his devoted fans as a complete joke. That didn't stop him from finishing this film out, though. Recording for both the film and the soundtrack took place primarily in 1967, with the album receiving a whopping 1 star on AllMusic. Critics of the time didn't hold back either. On all fronts, this was a total failure, the likes of which nobody could imagine. So how does it hold up? Let's find out. Content ID willing, this is my review of Elvis Presley's Speedway. Oh no. This film opens the most blunt way imaginable. Some dude trying to make out with a chick who's not into it. Ah yes, that's exactly what I think of when I consider Elvis and racing. Rape! Okay, I don't know much about American culture in the 60s, and this film is older than my dad, but come on, this couldn't have been okay back then either, right? Patiently waiting for hashtag Elvis is over party to start trending. This charming guy is named Kenny. I'll be 100% honest, I had no idea what his name was until the second time I watched this movie. I thought his name was Greg. Anyway, that's the entire opening. So far, we've got sexual assault and some very loose background information about the other dude managing Elvis's money. Exciting!
Hey, good Tom. Ocean Steel.
Hey, I've heard this song before. Yeah, I had no idea before watching this that it was an Elvis song. I only ever knew about the Static X cover. Crazy. And this wasn't just some sideshow racing that they got for this movie. No, sir. This film features Richard Petty, Buddy Baker, Cale Yarbrough, Tiny Lund, Dick Hutcherson, G.C. Spencer, and Roy. Name? Yeah, I'll be honest, I had to look this guy up on Racing Reference, and honestly, he was a mainstay back during these times. He never finished on the lead lap, but hey, he got to live to retirement. Good on you, Roy. So, you would never know any of these drivers were in the movie. They never appear as characters or have any lines. They're just, you know, the stunt drivers, if that's what you could call them. And just look at this footage, if YouTube allows it. Okay, I honestly don't care about the entertainment or artistic value of this film past the opening sequence. This right here is some of the clearest and crisp video ever taken of a NASCAR race in the 60s. Most of the footage from this era is completely unwatchable if it's even in film. Half the photos from this era aren't worth anything either. This is some of the finest imagery of a racetrack in its heyday you are ever going to see. And not only is the racing crisp, the aesthetics are too. The track was Charlotte, and the filming took place in 1967. It's hard to believe this is the same track as modern day. The entire infield was pure mud. Look at all this content. We even get a look at the 1967 garage. This footage is absolutely historic. It's some of the coolest stuff I've seen in years. Too bad this is only about 15% of the film. Anyway, Elvis here is starring as Steve motherfucking Grayson, the hottest driver alive not named Herschel McGriff. He's the driver of the 6 car, which is the real-life Cotton Owens team. In 1967, the driver of the 6 at Charlotte was Bobby Allison for the World 600 and Darrell Derringer for the fall race, neither of which have credits in this film. Buddy Baker did run some races for Owens in 1967, but it was later on in the season. What I'm trying to say is, I have no idea who's driving the 6 car. This is Elvis's arch enemy, Paul Dado. Boo! He's driving Petty's 43 car, so you know he's a downright evil character. These two are the ones battling it out every single week. Literally every race comes down to the two of them. It's like no one else is even on the track. Wow, they really did go all out in this movie and got all the stars.
They even got Davey Allison's murderer in for a role.
Nice green screen. It's still better than the Sharknado 2 green screen. Man, I just gotta emphasize how amazing this footage is in just its raw form. Like I said, I don't know a whole lot about 1968 and how films were made back then, but I really do appreciate how the film lets the racing speak for itself in this scene. It isn't trying to steer the audience's attention in any specific direction and just lets the sights and sounds play out without hardly any interference. As someone who appreciates racing, I could watch this scene all day, but for the average Elvis fan in 1968, I'd just be confused. The announcer talking constantly is a nice attempt to help guide the audience, but he really isn't saying anything particularly relevant for the theater audience. But this is just such a surreal thing to watch.
Side by side they go. This has been going on for the last 36 laps.
Did he just say 36 laps of side by side? Even this guy's laughing at that absurdity. Can we play that one back quick? They just spun out for no reason. And we're still green? Hoots is just asleep up there.
We're settling.
What the fuck was that? It's like we jumped into an entirely different track. Elvis just steered his car all the way to the right, by the way. Like, he's going into a wall. There isn't even a 6 car visible in this wreck. The worst part is that this movie reuses copious amounts of footage for these racing scenes. Like, they couldn't find even a couple more different shots in here. Good lord! Look at that door cave in. Bro, was that a fatal crash? I don't feel comfortable watching this anymore. And just watch this. They're coming to the light. 2 separate clips of the 6 and 43 flash onto the screen, but then suddenly Petty's all over him. The racing in this movie has massive amounts of plot holes, which shouldn't surprise anyone, but it's still very frustrating to sit through. Anyway, Elvis is starting to blow up on the last lap. Oh no.
Burning his tires! Look at his tires!
No, it's not his tires, it's clearly the engine. Oh, whatever. The point is, Elvis wins in a photo finish and everything is great, right? But wait! He just spins it. Okay. Well, Elvis still won, so everything's fine. He gets out of the car and is confronted by his rival.
You should have been black flagged off the track.
Don't tell the officials to let I get my check. They might disqualify me.
Did he just admit to bleeding tires or something? Anyway, the real purpose of this opening race is to establish the two main characters and their rivalry. I'm sure that this will be a very deep and engaging plotline that the film will focus on for its entirety. In Victory Lane, we see the sexual assault victim from the opening of the film, whose face is promptly devoured by Elvis. During these festivities, we get our first look at the second main character of the film. This is Susan. No, I didn't know that name until the second watch either. Susan is played by none other than Nancy Sinatra. Oh yeah, if there's anything I know about American culture in the mid-1900s, it was the Sinatras. Possibly the biggest name in music before Elvis. Hey, what exactly happened after his son got kidnapped? Nancy rings the doorbell and immediately hears someone say, "Come in." She discovers that the voice is actually a recording repeating "come in" over and over. If this isn't the setup to a homicide, I don't know what is. Nancy makes what is likely to be an expensive long-distance call on Elvis's dime to her boss, who is this rich, evil-looking guy.
He's a real hot dog.
Hot dog? What does that mean?
Oh, just a little race talk I picked up.
Ah, yes, the well-known racing nickname, Hot Dog. You know, I think Tim Richmond had that nickname at one point, too. So, Elvis and the rapey dude walk in on Nancy. Elvis kicks the rapey dude out, who steals the door key in his wake. Rapey dude then locks Elvis and Nancy in the trailer thing, which I can only imagine is his revenge for not being allowed in. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Lock the damsel in with Elvis so he can rape her instead. What a genius scheme. Well, she climbs out the window and that's that. How invigorating. I wonder what's next. Oh, okay. We're at the club now? Yes, of course, the racing-themed dance hall. Not a single teenager in 1968 would ever miss out on the opportunity to hit this hopping locale. Ah yes, this is exactly what guys like Joe Weatherly, Ned Jarrett, Bobby Isaac would do after getting their big wins. You know what they say, win on Sunday, boogie down on Monday. I put winning their wins in the script rating. Anyway, they make Elvis dance first because he's fucking Elvis Presley. What ensues is the first original song of the film since the opening. Yeah, they found every possible excuse they could get to get him to sing. Never mind the fact that this is a racing movie, they gotta get some random show tune in. So here we are, the first original song of the film. This movie is about racing and cars and driving. What is the song about? Why, it's about having sex with Elvis, of course. What did you think it was going to be about? I mean, there's nothing wrong with the song other than the fact it's utterly vapid and doesn't fit the atmosphere of a dance hall in the slightest. It's such a random aside, and if it was in any other movie that didn't have Elvis in it, you'd sit there and ask yourself why it exists. Actually, you know what? I'm just gonna say it. Why does this exist? Were Elvis movies incapable of just standing on their own artistic merit if they weren't also musicals? We all know the answer to that question, let's just move on. So after the song, everyone stops what they're doing and pretend like nothing happened. We catch up with Elvis, trying and failing to get a sandwich. This goes on for way too long. A dude who can't keep his dick in his pants is out in the parking lot with his flock of kids, and Elvis takes pity on their plight. He arranges for something to happen in a future scene. Back in the dance hall, I accidentally typed dance hell at first there, and to be honest, that isn't too far from the truth. Back in the dance hall, you wouldn't believe what happens next. Nancy Sinatra is up on the stage singing her solo for the film. You know, you'd think the underling of the evil, rich-looking guy would try to keep a low profile, but you'd be wrong! Can you believe this song is also bland and uninspired? The only interesting note is that it was written by Lee Hazelwood. He's the guy that wrote These Boots Were Made for Walking, so I guess that's neat. Yeah, it's another song, whatever, who cares. Elvis tries to get with Nancy again, who deflects and grabs onto some other dude. I have no idea who this guy is, but apparently Elvis does. I think this dude is my favorite character in this entire movie, and I have no idea why.
Hi, I'm Paul.
Paul is awesome. Anyway, the music is all fun and stuff, but you know what I'm wondering? What's the rapey guy up to? Why, he is being rapey, of course. He gets this chick into Elvis's trailer and tricks her into thinking a bunch of zoo animals got loose outside with the tape deck. Good thing we have phone notifications for this kind of thing these days. You know, the fact this tape deck plays such an instrumental role in this entire film really makes me think it should have been a paid and credited actor. Elvis cockblocks the rapey dude, and he gets knocked the fuck out. Is that a dildo? Anyway, the next day we're back with the station wagon people. It turns out Elvis has brought them a brand new station wagon. Wow, look at that work of art. Sometimes I wonder where the cars from movies like this are today. After they were in utterly pristine condition during filming, now they're probably in a scrap heap at best. Devastating stuff, really. Anyway, you're not gonna believe what happens next. We get one of the most poorly aged lines in the history of cinema.
I wish I were big enough to marry you.
What?
Wow, that is a humdinger right there. Is this evidence admissible in court? Your Honor, the 5-year-old seduced me. And if this wasn't bad enough already, this line immediately segues into the next song of the movie, called Your Time Hasn't Come Yet, comma, Baby. Oh my goodness, this is a fun time right here. Yeah, that's what I wanted to listen to today, a song about this 5-year-old getting married. Take a look at some of the lyrics to this piece of art. You're gonna be a beautiful woman because you're such a beautiful child. And when you start to bloom, just like a rose in June, I bet the schoolboys all go wild. Why do I hear sirens? Anyway, after sitting through a song more painful than Elvis's final trip to the bathroom, we finally get back to a racetrack. Oh yeah, did you forget this movie was about racing? So we're still racing at Charlotte for the second time this week, and the 6 and 43 are once again inseparable. Yeah, this is when the recycled footage becomes more and more obvious. We get several shots of Elvis blowing up from the previous race mixed in with everything else. On the last lap, there's another wreck, and my God! These guys really were just floating on the edge of death at any time back then, weren't they? They need to put a safer barrier down there or something. There's no caution flag again, and the 6 and 43 race side by side in the line. Or they don't? Yeah, that was lost in the cutting room, apparently. We get another phone call to the rich, evil-looking guy, though, so that's always fun. This guy seems like he's from an entirely different movie whenever he's on screen. Odds are he probably thought he was in an entirely different movie when he filmed these scenes. It's like he got either way too much direction or too little direction.
Oh, I love to hear good news.
What a movie this is. Anyway, Elvis makes out with someone again, and we teleport to the dance hall! I'm sorry, am I having a flashback right now? Does this guy literally do anything besides race and party with a little bit of charity on the side? So this is some sort of restaurant whose decorations are dancing girls in cages, I guess, and Elvis and his new date are trying to order food. But the waitress keeps breaking into tears. Damn, I know the service industry is rough, but you gotta save it for the freezer, girl. So Elvis does what any guy would do when he sees a crying waitress. He throws her a music-inspired wedding, of course. Who knew all you needed when your life was falling apart was to find a race car driver to buy you things? Good thing I still got Corbin's number. I could really use a new gazebo. So what's next, you may ask? Are we gonna save a family of puppies from drowning in a storm? Or are we on a mission from God and need to save a church? How about an orphanage of 35 kids before we go on a Sunday drive? Nope. None of that. We have to go and visit the IRS. This is still a movie about racing, right? Hey, remember when it was legal to smoke indoors? That's aged just about as well as anti-depression medication. Take a wild guess what happens next. You're gonna be blown away by this one.
He's your uncle, not your dad. He's the best friend you ever had.
That's right, it's a song about the IRS. Oh yeah, no one in the theater is going to be sitting down during the song about paying taxes! Yeah, this is the absolute bottom of the barrel right here. This might be one of the worst songs in a musical I have ever heard in my life. I was having a hard enough time believing what I was seeing to be able to try and take any of it seriously.
Just be thankful you don't live in Leningrad.
Hey, I'm as anti-communist as they come, but even I can see through this shameless capitalist propaganda. So this sequence goes on for an excruciating 3.5 minutes before Elvis finally goes into the rich, evil-looking guy's office to be audited. I know I'm supposed to be rooting for the protagonist and all, but after suffering through that, all I want is Elvis to get raked over the coals right here. And just a quick aside, the audio mixing in this movie is dreadful. I had to put the volume on my laptop to over 80 to hear the dialogue in this movie, but whenever a musical segment came up, I'd have to put it down to under 40 just to be able to hear myself think. I know 1968 didn't exactly have the greatest audio editing tools, but at some point it's down to the people on the back end to make something listenable. Yep, this scene is still going. Eventually we get to the crux of the problem, and that's how much Elvis owes the rich, evil-looking guy.
$145,000.
That's 1.3 million in today's currency. So Elvis signs his life away, agreeing to the rich, evil-looking guy's terms, and oh my god, it's a race car! We are 53 minutes into this film, and this is the third time that anything racing-related has even been shown on the screen. This isn't even a race, it's just a test session. Remember when those were outlawed?
Any problems? Not a one, man. She's really honking.
No one on planet Earth used the term honking before this film was made, and no one on planet Earth used the term honking after this film was made.
And before any of you say anything, the Amazon Prime subtitles say honking, not hauling or something else entirely. That's what he said. I don't want to hear it.
After this, the rapey guy is back to continue ruining everything. This time he's taking the check from the previous race so they can have some funds. Yeah, remember how this was supposed to be a movie about racing and it turned into a movie about having to pay back taxes? I have no idea how this movie flopped. Can't lie. In any case, Nancy tattles on them with the rich, evil-looking guy.
Oh, this is very discouraging.
Okay, this guy is trying way too hard right now. You're in a late Elvis film, buddy. Zero effort is required here. The rich, evil-looking guy was played by Gale Gordon, who has a plethora of credits on IMDb. He was Mr. Wilson in the live-action Dennis the Menace show, he was a staple of the I Love Lucy cinematic universe, and had roles all the way up until his death in 1995. What I'm trying to say is this wasn't his best role, and this man is a legend. Mad respect. So Nancy falls into what I can only assume to be one of the rapey guy's traps as she gets stuck on the lounge chair while an Elvis hypnosis track plays. Oh, come on. Any old loser can make an ASMR tape these days. This doesn't impress me at all. Anyway, the two stooges arrive, and we finally get the big twist. Nancy reveals she's been working for the IRS all along. Oh no! Elvis is clearly devastated to hear this news. What ensues is a painfully awkward sequence where Elvis attempts to get out of paying his taxes by, you guessed it, trying to have sex with the IRS agent. When this fails, the two get a call from a less sexy agent, or more sexy if you're into mafia films. I don't care, you do you.
Is this Donford? No, I'm not in right now.
Okay, I'll admit I laughed at that one. Anyway, the next scene is at a hotel.
What room did you say Miss Jax was in? 1210.
That's illegal! So the rapey guy brings Nancy some flowers, the least forward he has been in this entire film. You know what that is? That's called character growth. Elvis swings by next and begs Nancy for mercy.
$35.50 from 100 leaves $64.50.
Good job, Nancy. More of that and you'll be well on your way to 5th grade math in no time. Oh, would you look at that? The rapey guy is trying to hit on someone. Shocking! Look at this chick slamming these drinks though. Holy shit. This is me trying to get through this film. Oh no, it's the reason I'm on an FBI watch list again. Can someone please snip this guy's sack, by the way? So their station wagon got repossessed because Elvis is broke, so now they are living in his trailer. What happened to the perfectly good Woody they had from before? If that wasn't bad enough, the waitress from before also calls. Everyone's stuff got repossessed in one night? Now that's a movie I want to watch. So Elvis storms out and we cut to Nancy, who's about to go on a date with Paul! Hey, there's the big guy. I'm really happy for Paul, he deserves this. But not so fast, in comes Elvis to beg. And by beg, I mean get a little handsy. This is supposed to be the good guy, right? Jesus Christ, Elvis has a right hook on him. They taught him that one in GI Blues. Damn, this guy is out cold. Unfortunate how this innocent bystander had to get involved in this kerfluffle. Anyway, there's a big chase scene where Nancy tries to escape from Elvis and all the extras look on in terror. Once off the elevator, Elvis finally catches Nancy until Paul comes in to save the day. Can we run that one back? Okay, forget the fact that this is easily the funniest moment in the entire film. Paul did not deserve this treatment. He was a victim of circumstance from the beginning and has never been given the justice he deserves. Hashtag justice for Paul. At this point, Elvis pulls Nancy into a side room and gives her a stern talking to. A stern talking to that quickly turns sexual. Because of course it does! And he's singing again. Hey, remember when this was a movie about racing? And the voyeurism of these two is killing me. Hey, buddy, is that mop of age? So next we find out Elvis's latest plan. He wants to sell his race car to pay the debts. Hey, as old King Richard said, to make a small fortune in racing, start with a large one. It's honestly the most sensible thing he's done all film. Well, he can't quite do that now because his entire trailer has been repossessed. Why are these guys still here? Get some social security or something. So in the next scene, he tells Nancy of his plan to sell the car, but she isn't having it. But she does get an idea, calling up the rich evil looking guy. Okay, no, you cannot tell me that he did not immediately hang up that phone. I may be Gen Z, but I know how a receiver works. Nancy makes a deal that if Elvis can win the World 600, he can take some extra money to pay off the homeless kids and the waitress lady. Oh my goodness, the stakes have never been higher, especially as qualifying is the next day. I'm glad I waited until 2022 to start writing this script, because if I had to say that even qualifying was a relic of the past, I might have fallen over. So the 43 car puts up the fastest lap. Wow, truly a shocking development there. All Elvis can do is put the car on the track and try to do the same. Hey, quick question. Why didn't they qualify for the final race in the Cars movie? I know there were 3 cars in the field, but I've run events on iRacing with less cars than that, and we still had to qualify. Look at those people driving in the background. Do you think they have any idea they were in a movie? They better have gotten proper credit. Why is another guy on track behind him in qualifying? Man, this movie is both amazing and horrible to watch as someone who understands racing. This is easily the best real footage of race cars in the mid-1960s, but the editing and the plot holes make it unbearable to sit through at times. So Elvis hits the checkers and oh my goodness, he was fastest. Wow, oh man, who could have guessed? But then he eats shit in the quado? Come on, even I never did that. Look at that thing hit the barrier. There was no give at all. Imagine that wreck in the next-gen car. Elvis definitely has a concussion. So now the car is wrecked and Elvis is screwed. There's no way he'll be able to get the car fixed in time for the race tomorrow morning.
They took all our spare parts, too. We don't even have 1 spark plugs.
Could you repeat that one?
We don't even have 1 spark plugs.
Did anyone who worked on this movie ever drive a car in real life? Well, when everything seems lost, all the characters band together to fix the car, blah, 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 you get it. Obviously, the car is done in time and they head to the track. Oh, just listen to that raw audio. Oh, yeah. Oh, wow, that's some good shit right there. Eventually, Elvis has to pit because he's going slow. As it turns out, some dude managed to sleep through the first 100 laps of the race inside Elvis's car. Okay, I get it. I'm a heavy sleeper too, but last time I went to the track without hearing protection, I thought I was gonna die. I don't care how tired this guy is. He did not sleep through all that. Once Elvis pits, he's fast again, so now he's gotta drive through the entire field because this part of the movie didn't have enough arbitrary stakes as it is. Finally, Elvis sweeps around the 43 and takes the lead, coming to the light. Then out of nowhere, two cars that look like they're on a completely different track spin out in front of Elvis. Man just looks to his left like, ooh, that's unfortunate. Then two more cars spin and you can see him get past right there. Now he's behind these two coming off a turn. How many turns does this track have? This guy blows a tire and Elvis can't dodge it. Okay, well, that certainly happened. A rare sight in this film, but not IRL, the 43 car wins the race. So Elvis comes out of his destroyed car. That's gonna take a bit more than a music montage to fix this time. And the rapey guy has some great news to deliver.
Counting lap money, you get $7,670 for third place. Hey, we can pay off the furniture. We can get the Escalating a station wagon back. And we get $170 to celebrate with.
That's over $1,500 once you convert it. But Nancy butts in and reminds Elvis he still owes $130,000 to the IRS. Wow, killjoy. Well, that sucks. Elvis lost the race, his car is destroyed, and he is so underwater with the IRS, his life may as well be over. What's he gonna do now? Huh? Are you kidding? Wait, so not only did Elvis lose the race, and he will never have a positive net worth as long as he's alive, we're still going to end this movie with the happy celebration song and dance? What? How does that even make sense? What has been accomplished? Everything in life is still in the shitter besides his new girlfriend? This movie has not earned a celebration song and dance. What is even happening at this point? You want to know what the funniest part about this ending is? This song, the duet between Elvis and Nancy, wasn't even written for this movie. It was written for the 1966 Elvis movie, Spin Out. So the big epic conclusion to this movie, where the main plot hasn't even been solved, was a B-side from a completely different movie. Oh, that's just fantastic. What else is there even to say about this movie? It's an hour-and-a-half long film titled Speedway, where maybe 20 minutes at most take place at a speedway. The rest is a generic, dull, uninspired drag filled with middling humor, poorly aged writing, borderline rape, and a complete misconception about racing as a whole. I can understand why Elvis was so disgusted with this period of his life. The only song he had any interest in while putting this film together was dropped from the movie entirely. And the fact that he only had 9 more years left to live after this thing came out just really puts everything into perspective. Elvis was a larger-than-life figure. Larger than almost any other larger-than-life figure to ever live. It's a good thing that he was able to accomplish so much before and even after this dreadful waste of time came out. There are some little-known Elvis songs in his extensive catalog that are worth discovering, but there is absolutely none of that in this film. I can't believe this has 4.5 stars on Amazon. Was it even worth paying $8 for this comically large popcorn bowl for a prop? Okay, we all know the answer to that question. This movie is garbage. So yeah, that's about it for me. This has been my review of the 1968 Elvis movie Speedway. I've wanted to do racing film reviews on this channel for a few years now and just never really found the time nor the energy to do it, or even like an appropriate video to watch for it. I'm just so worried about this stuff getting content ID and getting taken off the internet. But I see all these other people making all these big, grandiose reviews of all sorts of things, and I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe I could finagle my way into doing that too. But for now, that's just how this video is just going to end. So, thanks for watching. I hope you appreciated this trek into a completely different subject that was somehow able to combine two of my favorite things, which is racing and Elvis. Too bad it sucked. Anyway, this has been... You want to know what the funniest part about this ending is? This song, the duet between Elvis and Nancy, wasn't even written You want to know what the funniest part about this moment is, though? You want to know what the funniest part about it? You want to know what the funniest part about it? You want to know what the funniest part about this ending is?